back to the channel on our continuing voyage to become better blues players. My name's Mark, and today we've got another kind of beginner's lesson, easy lesson if you like. We're going to play an entire blues solo out of just 3 notes. Now when I started playing, I often thought that in order to play an entire blues solo, I'd need to be able to learn scales up and down the fretboard. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to get as much as we can out of 3 very simple notes. So we're in the key of G minor. We're playing over a 12-bar blues in G minor. That means we're playing over a G minor chord, a C minor chord, and there's going to be a D minor chord. Okay, so those are the 3 chords. We're going to play over them with just 3 notes. They are these 3 notes up here at the 12th fret. G at the 12th fret on the G string, then 11th fret on the B string, and then 13th fret on the B string. So we're going to use just those 3 notes. And what we're going to do is we're just going to try and wring as much emotion out of each of those 3 notes and use those for our entire blues solo, 12-bar blues solo. So whichever key we're in, we're going to locate that note on the G string. So we're in the key of G. We've located that note on the G string. It's the 12th fret. And what we're going to do is pretty much the whole solo, we're going to use our middle finger on that G string, 12th fret, our index finger, 11th fret of the B string, and our middle finger, 13th fret. So those are the fingers we're going to use just on those frets, with the exception of one lick, which we'll come to in a moment. But basically, that's a kind of really nice, easy position because our fingers stay over those notes on those frets. So it's really nice and easy. 3 fingers, 3 notes. Couldn't be simpler. The way the lesson's going to work, we're going to talk about the notes and how you might play them. Then you're going to see me play an entire 12-bar blues solo just using those 3 notes, and then we'll come back on the other side and I'll teach you all the licks to the entire solo. Okay, so when we're thinking about those 3 notes, we want to think about the techniques of how we're going to play those notes in order to kind of, as I say, wring as much emotion out of them as we can. First thing we're going to do is vibrato. That literally is just shaking the note. Okay, so literally just shaking the note. Really, really important technique. It looks really simple. It's really, really super important. Whenever we tend to land on a note for any period of time, any length of time, we tend to shake it. We don't just hold it. Also, this solo is going to use a lot of bending. We're not going to bend this note here with our middle finger, but the notes on the index finger and the ring finger, we are going to bend. On the ring finger, we can bend up a little bit, or we can bend up a whole pitch. On the index finger, as I just did there, we're just going to occasionally bend that slightly sharp. But we don't hold it when we bend it slightly sharp because we're essentially just pushing it out of tune. We're going to resolve to our middle finger. So put those things together, you might get something like this. Okay, so we get those little incremental bends with our index finger. We can go incremental bends or we can go whole bends with our ring finger. We don't tend to bend with our middle finger though. Okay, so we've got vibrato, we've got bending. That bending, that really does allow you to kind of get some emotion in there. Also got hammer-ons and pull-offs. We can do between our index finger and our ring finger. Okay. Also, we've got slide. We can slide. We're going to, in the solo, you're going to see me do this once. I'm going to slide with my index finger from 12 to 13. I am kind of breaking my own rule by swapping frets with the fingers, but in the solo, you'll hear it and you'll understand. And again, combine that by sliding, and then when we land it, actually shaking it as well. And the other thing to think about is whether we're playing notes really loud or we're playing them quite soft. And you can vary that up a bit as well. So actually just varying the amount we're picking it, how hard we're picking, get some emotion in as well. And actually building all of these together is what really kind of makes the licks stand out and sing rather than just being a collection of notes. Anyway, what you're going to see now is me play 6 licks just using those 3 notes over an entire 12-bar blues in G minor using those 3 chords I showed you earlier. Then what we'll do is we'll come back on the other side, I'll pull the licks apart and show you them one by one. So here's a solo. So that was the solo there. And what we will do now is I'll pull the licks apart and show you them one by one with tab on screen. But before we do, a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, the backing track has been provided by Tom Bailey. Details of how to access the backing track are in the description below. Big thanks to Tom Bailey for providing the backing track to accompany this lesson. Also, there is tab available for this lesson. It's free of charge. If you'd like a copy of the tab so you can play along, drop me an email, details in the description below. Ask for the tab for the 3-note blues in G minor. Next time I'm online, I will send you the tab across attached to the email, totally free of charge. The tab has to be professionally produced. I have to pay for it, and that is paid for by the Patreon supporters. Big thanks to those, and those who would leave me a tip in my PayPal tip jar. If you fancy supporting the channel and helping me out, then details are in the description below and you can just leave a tip in my tip jar. Okay, I think that's all the housekeeping. Remember to subscribe, please leave a like, please leave some comments, etc. All that's done, let's get on with the licks. Okay, so the solo is divided into 6 licks. Lick 1 comes in and goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, really nice and simple. I'll do it very slow. When the backing track starts on the first bar, it comes in on the second beat. So that's why the count-in is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 when the chord plays, and then we come in with the solo. Okay, so nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so 12 on the G string to 11 on the B string, back to 12 on the G string, that little phrase. When we then land that 3rd note, we're holding it and shaking it. Then we've got 11 on the B string, and we're hitting the first one and then giving the second one just a slight bend sharp before again landing 12 on the G string, hold it, shake it. And what I'm actually doing is I'm sliding away from the note. So those last 3 notes go like this. So you get that slide away as well. I often, when I'm playing my licks, I'll often slide in and out of licks. I've had complaints on people leaving comments saying, please stop doing that because they're trying to follow my fingers. I can't help it. I'm sorry, it's just the way I play. I feel it gives a lick more emotion when we slide into it or slide away from it. So it's just something I do in my playing. Anyway, that was lick 1. Lick 2 now goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And again, that 12 on the G string, whenever I'm holding that, I'm shaking it. The only other thing to notice with this is that that last note is kind of cut a little bit short, so it's just kind of stabbed. I'll do it again up to speed. So it's almost like the lick's in two parts, and whenever I'm ending on that 11 on the B string, I'm just cutting it dead so it sounds very, very short. Okay, that was lick 2. Lick 3 then goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the underlying chord progression has moved to the C sharp. So I'm targeting this C here. Sorry, not a C sharp, a C minor. So I'm hitting this C here. So basically, I often do this in my solos. So what I'm doing is start with a hammer on from 11 to 13. And again, holding it and shaking it. And then what we're doing is 13, 11, 12 on the G. And that's when I'm then grabbing this 11 on the B string and sliding it with my index finger. This is where I'm kind of changing position slightly, sliding in to 13 and hold and shake. So once more up to speed, it would be like this. Okay, so that was lick 3. Lick 4 now goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Very, very similar to lick 1, this one. But I'm just starting on the B string instead of starting on the G string. So nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And again, that second to last note, the 11, I'm bending it slightly sharp. However much I bend it slightly sharp is probably different every time I play. That's really where that emotion is, how I'm feeling when I'm playing that particular note. Okay, so that was lick 4. Lick 5 then is over the D minor chord. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the one to watch here is that big bend at the end. I'll do it again now, nice and slow. It will sound a little bit weird holding a bend for that long, that slow, but we'll see how it goes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we start with the 13, we come up and then back to the 13, off to 11, and then back to 13, bending up. And then we've got to hold that and shake it. Remember what we're doing here is we're taking this, which is a C, and we're bending it up a whole tone to get to a D. So the pitch that we're aiming for is this note here, which should sound perfectly in tune with this chord here. Because that's a D minor, that note is a D. So we're trying to bend this C up to the pitch of this note here. So we're trying to get to here, from here. Often when people are just beginning to play guitar and just starting to step out into soloing, usually one of the ways you can really easily spot a novice player is those bends are not quite to pitch. Often they're just short, sometimes they're over. One of the things that will allow us to sound like a more, a better player, a more proficient player, that's the word I was going for, is to get that bend right up to speed, or up to pitch and at the right pitch. It's easier when the backing music is going because your ear should tell you when this note here, when that gets into tune with this. But we're aiming for it to be the same pitch as this one. Okay, so this is a little tricky. We've got to bend the note up, but not only have we got to get it to the right pitch, we've then got to give it some vibrato. I find the easiest way to think about this is to bend it up, and then once it's up to pitch, just relax slightly, which will bring the pitch down, and then bring it back up, and then relax slightly, and then bring it back up. It's different than when we're making a vibrato, say, on this note here. What we're actually doing when we vibrato without bending, what we're doing is we're starting at pitch and we're going slightly sharp and back, slightly sharp and back, slightly sharp and back. When we are bending up to a note and adding vibrato, the easiest way to do that is to bend it up, relax, and then bend it back, relax and bend it back. So very different. Without the bend, it's to pitch sharp, to pitch sharp, to pitch sharp. When we're bending up, it's bending it up to pitch, down, and then back up, and then down, and then back up. Hope that kind of makes sense. Anyway, if you struggle, I struggled for years with being able to bend and vibrato to pitch. The easiest way to do, in my mind, is just to go to bend, relax and bend, rather than try and bend, push up and back, push up and back. And hope that makes sense. Anyway, here is the lick again up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was lick 5. I've probably talked too much over that one. Lick 6, final lick, now goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, that last note is shaken, then eventually just slid down. Nothing too tricky about this one. 13, 11, and then 12. Twice on the second time we're going to shake it, then back to the 11. That first half's pretty simple. That last note in that piece is just kind of cut short. Then we do this little move, and this is the first time we've done this in this solo, where we're going from 13 on the B to 12 on the G. Well, most of the time we've been doing this kind of thing. And we're going to the G from the 11th. This time, it's the only time in the solo, we're going to the G, but immediately from the 13. So that second half of the lick goes like this. Okay, I'll do the whole lick back up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hope you found this useful. If you have, please consider leaving me a tip in the tip jar. Please consider looking into becoming a Patreon supporter. Massive thank you to the Patreon supporters. I'm going to put their names on the screen at the end now as a way of saying thank you. Thank you to them for keeping this channel going. Thank you to you for watching. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you next time.